Flint West, reporting from the macro frontier. Built to print, Zeihan, Bitcoin, and the last gasps of Keynesian Kool-Aid. Flint Dispatch, macro monologue. There's something poetic about watching empire intellectuals try to wrestle with Bitcoin. They fumble it like a hot coal, too scared to hold it, too proud to admit its real fire. Peter Zeihan strutted onto the Joe Rogan podcast like he had the whole globe in his back pocket, which, to be fair, he often does. Geopolitics, supply chains, demographic cliffs. Guy's got receipts. But then Rogan asked him about Bitcoin, and suddenly this geopolitical savant turned into a dusty economics professor from 1976. Crypto? Hot dumpster fire. Bitcoin? No purpose. Can't be a medium of exchange. Can't be a store of value. Has no intrinsic worth. And get this, it'll go negative because of carbon taxes. Let me stop you right there, Pete. That wasn't analysis. That was a tantrum in tweed. Let's clear some smoke from the room. Bitcoin isn't perfect. It's volatile, misunderstood, and yes, it's wrapped in layers of techno-libertarian zeal. But what it is honest. It's math, scarcity, consensus, no taper, no bailouts, no man behind the curtain whispering interest rate magic spells. And the fact that a guy like Zeihan can stare that in the face and dismiss it outright tells you more about his training than it does about Bitcoin's fundamentals. Let's tackle his greatest hit. If there's a fixed supply, it can't be used for trade. That's not an insight. It's Keynesian fan fiction. You don't need more money for more trade. You need a reliable unit of account. Trade scales when people trust the value, not when you crank the printer and hand everyone more monopoly money. That's the gold standard fallacy they used to sell us central banking in the first place. We can't grow unless we inflate. Yeah? Tell that to the guy holding dollars in Venezuela, Turkey, or 1970s America. Currency debasement isn't growth, it's theft in slow motion. Zeihan calls Bitcoin an ideology. He's right. It is. So is the gold standard. So is fiat. The difference? Bitcoin's ideology has a limit. Fiat doesn't. Bitcoiners believe money should be earned, not conjured. That the rules shouldn't change just because Wall Street caught a cold. That inflation is not a policy tool. It's a punishment for trusting the system. Meanwhile, the central banking cult believes in infinite flexibility. Every crisis is a printing opportunity. Every problem demands a rate adjustment. And when the numbers don't add up, they redefine the equation. That's not economics. That's narrative engineering. You start with the goal, total monetary control, and you build a story backwards to justify it. Gold is too rigid. Bitcoin is too volatile. We need tools to manage demand, sure. And every time those tools get used, the working class bleeds while the asset holders toast champagne. And that's the real crime here. Zeihan's not just wrong. He's playing cleanup crew for a system that's already collapsed twice this century. He's right about one thing. Bitcoin doesn't work like the old world, because the old world doesn't work. We're standing knee-deep in the wreckage of a monetary experiment gone off the rails. Negative yield bonds, bailouts on speed dial, central banks that own half the economy. This isn't capitalism. This is financial hospice with better branding. So yeah, maybe Bitcoin isn't the final answer, but it's the first honest question we've asked in decades. What happens if money can't be manipulated? What happens if we build a system where trust isn't issued, it's earned? Where currency doesn't inflate away your labor but preserves it? Where trade isn't choked by discretion but governed by code? That's the showdown Zeihan's afraid of. Not Bitcoin going to zero, but fiat going to court, and the jury's already whispering. Let the man talk geopolitics. He's good at that. But when it comes to money, he brought a map to a math fight. And Bitcoin? Bitcoin doesn't care what your narrative is. It just keeps ticking.